Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. If you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Say it louder, say it louder. You're the question, you're the answer. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. If you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. If you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Say it louder, say it louder. Letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down. Say it louder, say it louder. Feel the moment, feel the power. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Bring the energy one more time. Say it louder, say it louder. You're the question, you're the answer. Bring the animal back to life. Bring the energy one more time. If you feel like letting go, you can take control. You can turn this all to something beautiful where you feel life gets you down, 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 gets you down, down, down.
Good evening and welcome to the 2026 FIBA World Cup here on LFS. 3.5 years since Argentina were crowned champions of the world. The world comes together again to claim their new champion. This World Cup is the biggest in the tournament's history with a record 48 teams, 16 more than the last edition. Another record in which sees 3 countries host the competition for the first time, and another as Mexico's Estadio Azteca host a World Cup game in 3 different tournaments. Well, tonight, co-host Mexico kick off the tournament with a matchup against South Africa in Group A, a repeat of the 2010 opener in the Bafana edition 16 years ago. Well, this is the first of 104 games. And it's about to get underway at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. So without further ado, welcome to the 2026 FIFA World Cup on LFS. A very good evening. Thank you very much for joining us for the opening game of the 2026 World Cup from the USA, Mexico and Canada. Over the next 39 days, we'll be tracking the path of 48 teams who will all be vying to win the World Cup. And who knows, we could have a repeat winner or we could have a new one. You never know. It is possible, although there's more chances for that. Of course, we have 4 new teams making their debut in the competition. But these are 2 teams who have a storied history in the competition. But South Africa making their first appearance since they hosted the competition back in 2010. And of course, Mexico, they have a famous history in this competition. As I said, this stadium that we're in for the opening game of this competition hosted 2 previous finals and 2 very intriguing finals, of course. All those years ago, back in 1986 and 1970. So very famous finals previously. Let's have a look at the fixtures then to open the 2026 World Cup. Of course, Mexico-South Africa is our first game. And of course, at 3 o'clock in the morning, if you're willing to stay up, South Korea take on Czechia at 3 a.m. That's also in Group A. And then we're back in action tomorrow night. Canada take on Bosnia and Herzegovina in Group B as 8 o'clock kickoff. And then Saturday, lots of action as well. The 3 co-hosts get their games underway over the next 2 days. But here is what it looks like when it comes to this tournament as a whole. As I said, 48 teams, 104 matches, 12 groups of 4, the biggest ever World Cup in history. And the top 2 in each group are to progress, as is tradition. But a new aspect is the 8 best third-place teams in each group will progress. And of course, this will create a new knockout round, the round of 32. So 32 teams out of the 48 will progress to the knockouts. That would have accounted for every team in the 2022 World Cup. And of course, it all comes down to the final on the 19th of July at the MetLife Stadium. Who will be crowned world champions for 2026? And of course, it has only been 3.5 years since we did crown Argentina. It will be one of the shortest ever holdings of a World Cup in history because, of course, we were in Qatar in 2022, of course, in November, December. So a very different vibe then. But we're back to the traditions of the summer of Festival of Football. And we're excited for it. These are the 48 teams and their 12 groups that we'll be watching over the next few weeks. And we start tonight, of course, Mexico and South Africa. Korea and Czechia are in this group. In Group B, which we'll be watching tomorrow night, Canada take on Bosnia. They're in Group B, along with Qatar and Switzerland. Group C is a very intriguing group. Brazil and Scotland, Morocco as well in there, and newcomers Haiti are in Group C. Group D, of course, one of the co-hosts, USA. They have Paraguay, Australia and Turkey in Group D. Group E, Germany surely will be favourites, but another newcomer, Curacao, the smallest country in terms of population that are in this competition. They're in Group E alongside Ivory Coast and Ecuador. In Group F, very intriguing group that is. It could be anybody's game in Group F. The Netherlands, Japan, Sweden, and Tunisia. Very intriguing matchups coming there, especially one on Sunday night. Netherlands, Japan to get off Group F. Can't wait for that one. Group G, Belgium, Egypt, Iran, and New Zealand, of course, with the political stance around the world and what is going on. Iran, of course, a very unique position they find themselves in currently, at war with the country that is hosting the World Cup. Very unique position, but here we are. Group H sees Spain, of course, the reigning European champions. Cape Verde, another team making their debut, along with Saudi Arabia and Uruguay in that group. In Group I, France, of course, who were beaten finalists in 2022, and of course were the world champions in 2018. They're one of the favourites again for this time round. They have Senegal, Iraq, and Norway in that group. In Group J are the reigning champions Argentina. They're alongside Algeria, Austria, and Jordan. In Group K, Portugal, some saying is the dark horses of the tournament. They're in Group K, along with, of course, the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Uzbekistan, another one of our 4 debutants, and Colombia. And Group L, the 12th and final group, sees England, Croatia, Ghana, and Panama make up the 48 World Cup teams across the 12 groups. Well, a quick look at the 2 teams that we're going to be watching tonight, of course, Mexico and South Africa. And Mexico, of course, one of the co-hosts of this tournament. They're making a record, of course, in the competition tonight. The first country to host 3 different World Cups in the competition across of course, 96 years that this competition has been going. We have the centenary in 4 years' time. But here's a quick summary. Of course, Javier Aguirre, the coach, Captain Edson Alvarez, their best World Cup finishes ever, the quarterfinals, and they both came in World Cups they hosted in 1970 and 1986. The player to watch, of course, many Premier League fans will know Raul Jimenez, who just made the move back to Wolves, actually, just in the last few days. He is the player to watch for Mexico, also known as El Tri, or El Tricolor, of course. That is their nickname. For South Africa, of course, we know them very well, and they have this fixture has an unbelievable history in the competition. Of course, 2010, that magical commentary moment of Bafana. Unbelievable opening game that we had, and if we get anything similar to that, we'll be off to a cracking start in this one. Hugo Bruce is their coach. Ronwen Williams is their captain, of course, the goalkeeper. Their best World Cup finishes, actually, they've never got out of the group stage in the tournament. These are the 3 times that they've done that. Of course, their 3 previous appearances in 1998, 2002, and of course, they hosted the competition back in 2010. The player to watch is their goalkeeper, Ronwen Williams, who, of course, is a very intriguing situation. The fact that a goalkeeper is the player to watch, but that will be the vibe of South Africa. If they can progress from this group, it will be a fantastic achievement. Wonderful achievement considering the opponents they have. And of course, we know that famous nickname, Bafana, and that magical commentary moment from 16 years ago. As we go to the Estadio Azteca, the FIFA president, along with Salma Hayek, interestingly, holding the World Cup trophy. The trophy that 48 teams are fighting for. And who will be crowned the world champions, we will find out in 39 days' time. Sunday, the 19th of July, the longest, the biggest, and hopefully the best World Cup ever. And it's about to get underway in the next 6 minutes as we watch the co-host Mexico take on South Africa at the Estadio Azteca. We'll be back for the team news in just a moment.
Sure, one last kick. This is going to be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a 4th, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable! Race again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible.
Welcome back to the World Cup 2026 live here on LFS as we get ready for the kickoff, the first game of the competition of 104 that we will be keeping a very close eye on and all building to the final on the 19th of July. But of course, the co-host Mexico, along with South Africa, out onto the pitch and ready to get underway. Of course, we'll have the national anthems before it all gets underway. And South Africa are going first. Of course, as tradition, the designated away team has their national anthem first. There's a massive display on the field, of course, with the flags dripped across the field with the World Cup logo in the middle and the players kind of surrounding the middle logo in the centre circle. We've got these kind of illuminated silver jackets on the South African players. Very unique approach. And the FIFA logo hanging above the stadium. Of course, the flag of every country is hung around the outskirts of the roof of the stadium. Of course, all 48 teams proud to have their flags, I'm sure, at the top of the stadium. And of course, as I said, for the 4 debutants, it's a massive moment for your country to be at a World Cup. Many teams, even many teams of yesteryear who've done really well at these competitions, are not here. Of course, Italy or multiple champions of the world are not here, of course. But it just shows it is much more difficult than it probably seemed it would be for 48 teams to get to this competition. As the national anthem continues, of course, it is massively, as you would expect, of a Mexican persuasion in the stands here at the Estadio Azteca, a real, truly famous stadium, of course. Diego Maradona and Pelé both lifted the World Cup in this stadium, so a stadium steeped in World Cup history, and hopefully more to be produced this evening and across the next few weeks. We'll talk more about the competition, more about certain areas, places in the competition, stadia, and of course the teams as the competition goes on. And my predictions, we put our predictions out on Shorts a few days ago, and really, I stand by those predictions, of course, and I'll go into further detail and explain more about those predictions across the tournament. But you know, it's not a World Cup where there's been an out-and-out clear favourite going into it, where you think there's a team that will run away with it. And that's what makes it so intriguing, the fact that there is so much competition as the Mexico national anthem is billowed around the stadium. The many thousands inside the Estadio Azteca singing loud. You want to hear the opening ceremony. It was like a real festival inside this stadium. The whole crowd were singing along. That's kind of what the World Cup is all about. That fanfare, that camaraderie, that spirit to back your country. And of course, Mexico, a very passionate country, no doubt about it. And it's good to see that. You know, I think the 2010 World Cup had a lot of that as well. The 2014 World Cup. When World Cups go to Africa or South America or these types of areas, the passion, the energy for the countries certainly shine through massively. Remember, we've team news to get as well. Let's quickly bring you through the team news before we get underway here. Let's start with the hosts, Mexico, of course. starting with Raul Rangel in goal. A back four of Reyes, Montes, Vasquez and Gallardo. In midfield, Lira alongside Fidalgo and Gutierrez. Alvarado and Quinones are the wingers. And Jimenez, of course, Raul Jimenez at the centre forward. On the bench, Azevedo, Ochoa, Sanchez, Romo, Chavez, Vega, Huerta, Alvarez, of course, Edson Alvarez, of course, the captain, is on the bench tonight. Mora, Chavez, Vargas, Pineda, Gonzalez, Martinez, and Jimenez. For South Africa, of course, we already marked out Ronwen Williams, the goalkeeper. They've gone for a back three or / back five. The back five of Mudau, Ocon, Sibisi, Mbokazi, I have to get that right, and Modiba in the back five. Siddle, Mukena and Adams in the midfielders and Rainers, and Lyle Foster is the centre forward. Lyle Foster, of course, as you would know, of Burnley, of course, formerly of Burnley in the Premier League. Goss, Shane, Cross, and Damani, Makanya, Kabini, Matulidi, Apolis, Moremi, Mofokeng. I'm butchering these. I apologise. They're very difficult. I think I had this in the Euros with Georgia, and there were so many long names, but we'll get used to them. But these are the teams for you to see. Ready for this one, Mexico and South Africa, as the 2026 World Cup gets underway from Mexico City. We are ready to get going. Kickoff is next. Welcome back to the 2026 World Cup live here in LFS. A Brazilian officiating team. Wilton Sampaio is our referee. Of course, the two assistants. And of course, the VAR is Nicolas Gallo from Colombia. And Jerome Brissart and Juan Lara, of course. The assistant VAR is, of course, very serious. And, of course, there's some new rules which we'll bring you through as well for the World Cup this time around. Some interesting rules that we saw introduced about throw-ins, corners, a lot of time-wasting rules that have been really eradicated. Also, VAR with some upgraded involvement in the fact that they will also have, of course, a check on corners, whether corners or goal kicks should be given. VAR will have repertoire with that, and also in removing a second yellow card, which is a bit of a controversial one. And a second yellow card, of course, leading to a red. They can remove it, but they can't recommend it. A lot of rules, but we'll bring you through them as the competition goes. Lots to really get your teeth into, and so much to try and take on board, but we cannot wait to get it off and running as the teams are being read out in the stadium. They're ready. This is a stadium full of anticipation. This has been 3.5 years in the wait. There's nothing quite like a World Cup. And we are ready and waiting. And they've a lot to live up to, this World Cup, I have to say. Albeit Qatar had its controversies, but it was nothing short of magical, the Qatar World Cup. And the final was an absolute spectacle. So they have a lot to live up to in this World Cup. But we look forward to seeing what they can deliver. Referee doing the coin toss. Mexico won the toss. As we get ready to go. Of course, this was meant to be an 8 o'clock kickoff, but of course the build-up. Who cares if it's a bit late? It's not a massive deal. Of course, we've had our own graphics update to try and fit the theme of the World Cup. Some background involvement, lots of flags, and the wall chart in the background as well that we'll be updating as the competition goes on, and we'll bring you right through all of that. Of course, Mexico in their traditional green, and South Africa in their traditional yellow. So, a very eclectic set of colours. That just sums this one up. And let's hope for a stunner of an opener at the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. As the anthem of the World Cup, of course, by Shakira, which is actually quite an interesting parallel. Of course, one of the most famous World Cup anthems sung by Shakira, Waka Waka, which was, of course, for the South Africa World Cup, as you know, as the anthem for this World Cup as well, Die Die, which is a real hit, I have to say. It's one of those catchy songs, like Waka Waka, where you just can't get it out of your head. It's one of those that just gets stuck in your head. We're ready to go then. And will be Mexico to get us underway. They're kicking from left to right. South Africa from right to left to start this one. And the 2026 World Cup is going to begin in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We are underway for the 2026 World Cup. They did that in the Club World Cup last year, but they had the 10-second countdown. Talk about drama. But this is going to be a real festival over the next 5 weeks. We cannot wait to bring it all, to see what sort of unique aspects, unique goals. We'll see some quality finishes, some shocks. We saw some drama in the 22 World Cup. Some shocks. Let's hope for more of the same in this competition. And it is Mexico that have started with a bit of possession with their centre-backs. The ball comes out here to Reyes on the right-hand side. Just going to play it backwards across to Johan Vasquez. And of course, this World Cup with such unique challenges, but probably not for these two teams in the fact they're used to playing with this sort of climate, these conditions, this sort of situation, whereas a lot of European countries or different countries around the world won't be used to that situation. That'll be another unique aspect to this World Cup that will certainly have an impact. And of course, injuries might be on the rise because of that. Well, there is the Mexican captain, Cesar Montes. Of course, Edson Alvarez, the team captain, but not on the field, so that one's stolen away in the middle there by Satole. Has to be given backwards, though. Not able to play it forward. Madao all the way back to Ronwen Williams. As the boos ring around the stadium. South Africa player to that press well. That was nicely done. Sabisi into midfield. Satole right to the right-hand side. Rainers back to Satole. Having their little spell of possession now, South Africa, after Mexico had the exclusive possession in the first minute and a half. Of course, there's been a lot of controversy about this World Cup too. There's no question about it. A lot of controversy in the build-up. There's a bit of pressure here on Ronwen Williams. Fabulous distribution, though, under pressure. But seen out of play by South Africa for a Mexico throw. A little bit nervy there is Javi Aguirre. The Mexican head coach applauds his team's press. They win themselves a throw-in here. Reyes. Played in the midfield, trying to squeeze it through to Raul Jimenez, but it's going to be pulled back for a foul on Brian Gutierrez. The referee blowing the whistle. Took him a second or two to make the decision, but yeah, crunching challenge in there. That was Modiba with the challenge. So a free kick to Mexico here. Inside the South Africa half. I wonder if Ronwen Williams will be called into action early in this game. He's already been under pressure a few times with South Africa trying to play out from the back, but let's see if that turns into something dangerous here, this Mexico free kick. Right footed, trying to fire it towards goal, blocked by the two-man wall. A little bit anticlimactic after all that. Thought they were going to deliver it, tried to go more direct with more of a shot towards goal and was blocked by the two-man South African wall. Here's Reyes with another throw-in. Of course, Raul Jimenez is really the player to watch for Mexico if they are to do well in this competition. He is certainly, you would feel, going to lead the charge. That's nice play down the right. Gutierrez finding the ball to Reyes. Fired across! And that was an effort. Well saved by Ronwen Williams. Massive save, but Raul Jimenez with an effort. Such quality. Struck it with such pace. Such a clean connection. Bounces up off the ground and Williams just parries it wide. But a fabulous cutback cross. Free as a bird at the edge of the box. Raul Jimenez struck it clean. The corner delivered in. Punched away by Williams. Still not away from danger though. Swung round the back. South Africa a little bit nervy here defending as it's headed down. And you cannot get it away from the box here. And now they want to spring a counter-attack because it's sprung free. Foster there. Back to Reyners. Through it comes here for South Africa. The ball through the lines was easily caught by the Mexican goalkeeper, Raul Rangel. But see this moment for Mexico again. Fabulous cutback cross by Reyes from the right-hand side. And this for a volleyed effort by Raul Jimenez. It's an absolute thunder strike. And a fabulous save by Ronwen Williams to parry it wide. But what an effort to start this first 5 minutes. And it is Mexico that's seemingly garnering that control now. South Africa just struggling to reach the pace of Mexico in the early moments here. The counter-attack will be their main threat, as that ball was a little bit wayward from the midfield of Sefafolo Sithole. As you would expect, hosts usually do well in the tournament. Mexico, their best finishes in this tournament have come when they've been the hosts. Twice quarter-finalists back in 1970 and 1986. Two of the most famous World Cups in history. The Pelé World Cup in 1970 and the Maradona World Cup in 1986. Mexico were the hosts on those two occasions. Malera. Right to the left-hand side it comes. Opportunity here for Julian Quinonce. Blocked by the right back there, Coliso Madao. He didn't feel it was a corner, but goal kick was given. And goal kick, I think, is the correct call. Well, of course, VAR can get involved in these sorts of situations. But they said that is the correct call. So goal kick is the decision. Oh, again, another heavy Mexican press. But again, another goal kick will come out of it. As that one was blocked. I think that was Alvaro Fidalgo that was pressing that time. But they do get it away this time, South Africa. But again, quickly retrieved by Mexico. I think at the minute, they're really struggling just to have an out ball at the minute to the South Africans. Mexico really taking firm grip of this at the moment. Here's Reyes on the right-hand side. Going for the long switch out to the left. Kept in play by Quinonce. Couldn't get it clear. Again, South Africa just rescuing it away. It was Madao again with the clearance. Out for the throw. Jesus Gallardo, the man on the overlap there that deflected off to give South Africa the throw. Giving it away cheaply again. Jimenez trying to make a nuisance of himself there between the lines, but well cut out that time by Sithole. Oh, heavy press though. They've given it away, South Africa. Can they make the moment? They can! Mexico take the lead. And that is duly what they've deserved in the first 10 minutes. A wonderful, wonderful press that has just absolutely suffocated South Africa so far. And they have finally taken advantage. It is perfection for Mexico. Calamity for South Africa. And the hosts are in front inside 9 minutes. Julian Quinones with the finish. Let's see this again. It's Ronwen Williams. He just plays it out into the middle. Far too lackadaisical. Poor first touch. And it's again snatched upon Raul Jimenez to break it apart. And in the end, it's stolen away by Fidalgo and finds its way to Julian Quinones, who puts it right through the legs of the South African goalkeeper, who can do nothing about it. Mexico 1, South Africa 0. We have our first goal of the World Cup. Quinones. Well, there you go. That is what you call a perfect start to the tournament for Mexico. A goal inside 9 minutes. And real true dominance in the first 9 minutes, you have to say. They've had 60% possession. They've had all the shots. They've been passing it around for fun at times. South Africa have shown very little to combat it. That's another late challenge. That's a poor tackle by Kuliso Madao. And it's going to be another Mexico free kick. Just a little bit unhappy with a few of the challenges so far, the Mexican players. A few real crunchers. And it is Quinones who just scored that was fouled on that occasion. He's thankfully back to his feet, but Hugo Broos, the South African head coach, already some thinking to do after just 10 minutes. As I said, they've never progressed from a group stage of the World Cup, South Africa. So if they were to do it, it would be some feat, but they're surely regarded as the team the least favourite to progress because of the group that they possess. Of course, Korea and Czechia, along with Mexico in this group, and South Africa. And many of the predictions, many of the feelings are that South Africa will be the fourth place team, but you never know. Something could spring out of nowhere. Bafana have had magical moments before. It's not out of the question they can do it again. But it's been Mexico who have been absolutely fantastic since the start of this game. Well, the long ball over the top, Raul Jimenez with the chase onto it. Did just about keep it into play and did wonderfully there to win a corner. Wonderful work from Raul Jimenez. Of course, was a Fulham player in the season gone past, scored 10 goals in all competitions. And returns to Wolves, of course, the club which spent so many years at and had so much success at for so many years. Corner to Mexico, left-footed delivery into the box. Header is looped up into the air by Jimenez and into the hands of Ronwen Williams in the South Africa goal. But it's a free header, though, for Raul Jimenez. And there we see the FIFA through ball there from South Africa was dangerous. The FIFA president, of course, Gianni Infantino. I have to say, though, today, this has been a real festival around the city of Mexico City, and of course the whole country of Mexico. Apparently, the schools were closed, offices were closed. They declared a national day for this. So the passion is through the veins of this country, and they have had a fabulous opening moment in the opening game. And of course, if we can't get enough of it, we will be back tomorrow after this one for Canada against Bosnia and Herzegovina tomorrow at 8 o'clock, as one of the other co-hosts in Canada open their tournaments. Of course, they've a very recent history in the World Cup. That's the BMO Field in Toronto tomorrow, 8 o'clock there. Nadal's been very heavily involved in both defence and attack for South Africa, and on that occasion it was on the overlap that he tried to make his mark. Ball just a little bit heavy. Couldn't keep it in play, but a little bit better from South Africa. Decent response to going behind, you have to say. They've got a little bit more in the thrusts of Mexico a little bit. Although they have still continue with the sloppy fouls. This time it's McKenna with a bit of a cynical foul, really, on Fidalgo. That's going to be a free kick. Well, is it just kind of poetic that South Africa and Mexico met this day 16 years ago to open the 2010 World Cup in South Africa? That magical moment. Shabalala with the goal. And then that late equaliser from Rafael Marquez for Mexico to draw the game 1-1. Ended up finishing third in that group, South Africa. That was a group that France finished bottom of. Uruguay finished top. Mexico finished second and progressed to the knockouts. 16 years ago to the day, the 11th of June, 2010. Here we are, a decade and a half later. The same fixture to open a tournament co-hosted by one of the teams. Here's Madao. He's in field. South Africa have responded well here. They've got back into the game. Satoli plays it across, trying to squeeze it through. Nicely cut out by Lira that time. Right to the left-hand side. Modibo. Clipped towards the box, headed away by Montez. As Mexico try and take advantage, and Lira skipping away from a challenge. This one's going to be a yellow card. This time, that's the first yellow card of the competition. I think that is McKenna again with the foul. Another cheap, a real poor foul by McKenna. South Africa given the first yellow card of the competition. It's Fidalgo, actually, that is brought down. Heavy touch there on the the left-hand side. South Africa playing it through the middle. Satole. Kadzi. Modibo. Back to the centre-back. Mukadzi. All the way across to BC and now Madao. McQuena down the right side, trying to find that overlapping run again, but again just miscued it a little bit. Little glimmers though from South Africa, but nothing too dangerous, nothing too concerning for Mexico so far to really contend with. I don't think the goalkeeper's been really tested at all. Raul Rangel in the Mexican goal. Haven't faced a shot yet. To this point, 18 minutes in. Mexico lead by a 0 from Julian Quinones. And of course, the Mexican goal scorer in the Saudi Pro League, of course, Al Qadsiya. Scored 37 goals across his 35 appearances in the season just gone. Has had spells at Club America and Tigres as well. Here they come down the right again, Mexico. Fidalgo, wide it goes again. To Alvarado. Reyes. In reverse. Beautiful touch by Quinones. Fired again! And that one wasn't too far away once more from Quinones. See it again. Really good ball played in field. And then he just, on the turn, struck it with pure pace there, Julian Quinones. He just hits the top corner of the netting at the back of the net, but it's a decent effort. It was worth the hits. Certainly, confidence is up after that opening goal. Referee ensuring that Raul Jimenez isn't inside the 18-yard box on a goal kick. Fired up towards Lyle Foster. We haven't heard much of the South African centre forward so far, Lyle Foster. Struggled to really get in the game in the first 20 minutes, but a long way to go for that to change. Sabisi. Back to Williams. Back wide to Sabisi. Down the right-hand side to Mudau. Trying to get some possession out of South Africa, which will settle them a little bit. That's nice play. McKenna. Again, trying to play the ball directly through it. Lyle Foster was the target, but he's underheaded a little bit. Another poor challenge on this time the Mexican captain, Cesar Montes. And that's going to be a free kick. It's Mudau that time who tracked his man all the way across the field, and then as the ball was already gone, came sliding in and just caught Montes a little late. Definitely a foul. I think the referee's just calling for calm from some of the South African players. Their challenges have been quite of a excited level, shall we say, to put it nicely. Ooh, a little bit loose there from Gallardo. Nicely taken in. Beautiful. Jimenez. Fidalgo. Wide it goes to Alvarado. On the right-hand side, looking for the early cross. Round the back. Headed away well. Strong header that time from Ime Ocon. Foster trying to hold it up. Nicely seen out of play. That will be a South Africa throw, I believe. Cafu and Roberto Carlos in the crowd. Some of football's greats. Watching on. Ocon. Sabisi. Back to Mudau on the right-hand side. Decent spell this from South Africa. The last 5 minutes or so. Ball fired towards the box. Oh! A loose bit of goalkeeping there from Rangel as they try and cross it. Calls of handball. Cleared away by Gallardo in the end, but a bit of danger here from South Africa. Wanted a foul there. Not going to get that one, I have to say, McKenna. Actually, the referee's going to give a yellow card out to Gutierrez. Brian Gutierrez in the book. Not too sure what for. Well, he was a little late. Just a little bit unnecessary, really. I think that's what the referee is kind of saying, that foul was just a little bit unnecessary on McKenna. It is a yellow card. And it is a South African free kick in a spell where they have been much more dangerous. Can they make it count? The man who won the free kick is going to take it. Of course, with this World Cup and the temperatures, hydration breaks are, of course, mandatory, so we will have that very shortly. Free kick here for South Africa. On the right-hand side. Right for the delivery. Swung in. Headed clear. Confidently by Mexico. As brings it into the box again. Edge of the area. Again, Mexico able to get it away. Here's Quinones. Ultimately wins the goal kick for his team. And that's going to call for a hydration break. 25 minutes gone. And Mexico leading by a goal to nil, of course. With that goal from Quinones after 9 minutes. So the hydration break in place. Of course, with the extreme temperatures that the players will be playing in this World Cup. That is, of course, necessary. 24 degrees here in Mexico City. Of course, it is 1:30 local time. It's still very early in the day. Of course, this is the first game of the day. There's another game coming very early on Friday morning in the UK. So South Korea taking on Czech Republic or Czechia. A 3 o'clock kickoff from that game. That's also in Group A. And Group B gets underway tomorrow evening as we watch Canada take on Bosnia. And then Group D, also featuring co-host United States, the USA, at 2 a.m. on Saturday morning against Paraguay. Qatar, Switzerland, they're in Canada's group. They're 8 o'clock on Saturday. And Brazil, Morocco get Group C underway 11 o'clock on Saturday night. As I was saying about those very intriguing games that we've got coming up, the one that I'm really looking forward to Sunday evening, Netherlands taking on Japan. There's some crackers in the first match day. Of course, we'll watch Spain take on Cape Verde as well on Monday. That's an intriguing one. France, Senegal on Tuesday night. And of course, England, Croatia will round off match day 1. That is on Wednesday evening as well. And you can follow it all here on LFS. We will have the big games and the little ones, whatever you want to say. But we will have quite a lot throughout this tournament. There's playing some fantastic little music, some chirpy little music around the stadium during the hydration break, and that is going to come to an end. So we will restart in a moment. Of course, the big talking point of the last World Cup, of course, a lot of political controversies, but in terms of the footballing side, was the amount of added time that we had in the last World Cup. We were regularly having 8-9 minutes of added time in the 22 World Cup. I don't think they're anywhere near that level this time around, but of course we will have added time due to the hydration breaks at the end of the 45 and the 90 minutes. And we are ready to get back going with a Mexican goal kick. Rangel just about got that one away, trying to go direct. Picked up by South Africa. Here's Modiba down the left-hand side. Now, I have to say South Africa have responded quite well to going behind. I think Mexico certainly had control of the first 10 minutes. But since that opening goal, it has swung in the favour of South Africa, and it's just kind of, I wouldn't say worrying for Mexico at this moment in time, but it's getting to a point where, if they aren't careful, it could be a leveller on the horizon. Albeit, South Africa still yet to have a shot in the game, but it's more the momentum that has swung in their favour without much end products, which could be a major problem for them at the tournament. That's caught out in midfield again. This is where Mexico will have a field day with their press, catching them in possession. Here's Quinones. Plays it back to Gallardo. Back to Quinones. That's the thing, they've got the firepower, Mexico, so they don't need to be dominant the whole way through. They have the quality at the top end of the pitch to carry them up the field and just to relieve any defensive pressure that they're coming under. Here's Vasquez to Gallardo. Beautiful ball down the left-hand side by Fidalgo. Squeeze through the lines. It's a lovely little run here from Gutierrez. Gutierrez breaks free. Shot was blocked. Nicely blocked by Ocon in the middle. He sprung free there, Gutierrez, and another fabulous through ball. Great vision. And Gutierrez had the opportunity there to exploit, and almost did. Great switch ball. Beautifully taken down by Alvarado. Reyes with the early cross. Too close to Runway Williams that time, but one or two little moments for Mexico there. Just reasserting the fact they are a dangerous team. Bacadze. Back to Williams. Gonna lump it forward. And they're comfortably dealt with by Vasquez, who brings it down to Gallardo. Gutierrez. Reyes. Back to Montes. Now Vasquez. Trying to play the ball early there, Gallardo, towards Raul Jimenez, but that's decently dealt with by Sabisi. Back to Runway Williams. Of course, we've had a bit of a limbo period where both teams are just fighting for possession a little bit more. So we surpassed the half-hour mark, third of the way through this game. Mexico leading by a goal to nil, but Africa have had one or two little moments. Nothing too, as I said, too dangerous in the final third, but just keeping Mexico honest. Here's Montes. Going to go long over the top. Again, no one there to target really on that occasion. No one further up the field for Mexico. Well, as I was saying before the game about the predictions that I had, and we'll talk more about this at half-time, but I predicted France to be the champions. They are one of the favourites coming into the competition, along with, of course, Spain, who are the reigning European champions. And you kind of feel that they are the two teams to watch. Of course, they're in groups that they should progress from. Of course, they are teams with a lot of success and a lot of backing. Of course, and a lot of fantastic talent. Both France and Spain. South Africa thought they'd won a corner, but the flag's gone up. Quick look at the groups again. Group H, of course, Spain are in with Cape Verde, Saudi Arabia, and Uruguay, which they should progress, certainly. And France in Group I should be the best of the four in that group as well. Argentina, you can't rule them out. Of course, Portugal have gone under the radar a little bit. Some calling Germany. Some have even said Netherlands, which I find a little bit bizarre, but Brazil as well. And it's mostly European teams that I kind of think that have taken the wave of who could be the next European champions. Of course, Argentina, the holders at the moment. And Europe has kind of dominated since 2010. Of course, Spain were the world champions in 2010, then Germany in 2014, then France in 2018. So Argentina were the first South American team to win it since Brazil in 2006. So it's been mostly European teams that have dominated the world over the last 16 years. The reigning European champions, reigning world champions, shall I say, will have something to say about that. And they don't get into action until early next week. And of course, when they play on Wednesday morning next week, which is a long time to wait, but they 2 o'clock on Wednesday morning against Algeria. Argentina. We'll definitely be keeping a very close eye on that second game, Argentina-Austria, on the 22nd of June. There's some, as I said, there's some really fascinating matchups for this World Cup. Of course, with this unique kind of format, 48 teams rather than 32 teams. There's so many more teams, so many more matchups, and so much more intrigue around it. any sort of upsets that could come their way. Gutierrez finds Alvarado on the right-hand side, waiting for the overlap, looking for Reyes, who's just beaten to it there by Modiba. Yeah, nicely challenged. Reyes beaten to it, but he knows he's got the throw in anyway, so opportunity for Mexico here. Alvarado does really well to evade the pressure. Gutierrez now. Fidalgo. Quinones. Gallardo across. Right into the hands of Roman Williams. They tried to walk that one in, Mexico. Really, really good play. When they get into rhythm, they're so dangerous, but beautiful ball. Good overlap by Gallardo. We're on the left-hand side, and they square back across into the hands of the goalkeeper, but danger was in the mix there. It's that possession, that swift, sharp football from Mexico so far that's been really impressive. For South Africa, it's been quite low-key on that front, but as I said, don't underestimate tactical changes. Could come their way at some points. Reyes. Into the last 10 minutes of the first half. Mexico 1, South Africa 0. Look at that. Haven't had an attempt so far. South Africa, it has been all Mexican danger. Back here to Rangel. Played it forward there for Raul Jimenez, who did well for the hold-up. All the way back to Gallardo. A terrible first touch from Gutierrez, though. As South Africa try and spring away. Unable to really have that cutting edge so far. There's Madao here on the right-hand side. Well, switched across here to Mbakazi. Into the box it goes. The header is directed towards the goal by Lyde Foster. That's their first attempt of the game for South Africa. Early ball in by Mbakazi. No one really pressuring him. As he whipped the ball in, Lyde Foster got himself free. And the header just directed away from goal ultimately, but ultimately, their first bit of real tangible danger in this game for Bafana. That one's all the way through. Well, in terms of predictions, Spain, in terms of the champions, are by Opta predicted to be the favourites with a just under a 16% chance to be the champions. France are second in that list at 13.5%. England are third favourites, 10.5%. And Argentina, the reigning champions, are 10%. Then come Portugal, Brazil, Germany, and then the Netherlands. Norway are a bit of an outlier up there too. But Spain and France, by far, the outright favourites, those two teams for the competition. Lira tried to play the ball through there, but there was a collision just after that pass had been played, and Lira is on the floor at the moment. I'm not quite sure what happened, but I'm sure we'll find out in a second. And he's gone down here, the midfielder, Eric Lira, in need of some treatment, it seems. Well, Eric Lira is back to his feet. And of course, that's another new rule that we have. So if Eric Lira needed assistance there and the physio had to come on, then Lira would have to stay off the field for at least a minute because the challenge didn't lead to a yellow card. Therefore, in the new rules, the player that was fouled, for example, or was receiving treatment would have to go off the field for a minute after the challenge. It's a bizarre rule, but that's the new rule. It was 30 seconds, of course, as we know. We've seen in the Premier League this season, but a minute it has been extended to here. Well, this is the 20th match that the Estadio Azteca has hosted in this competition. That's more than any other venue in the World Cup history. And as I said, the third different tournament that it has hosted a game. The Estadio Azteca, as I said, embedded into World Cup folklore, this stadium. Here's Lira. Quinones, beautiful little layoff to Gutierrez, and they're away again. Gutierrez couldn't just find it through to Raul Jimenez, who was on the run off the back of the defenders. They've got it back again here. Gallardo. Quinones again. Right, Alvarado out wide to Reyes. Bodies in the box. Can they end this half strongly, Mexico? Reyes, Lira with the switch. Defended there by Madao, but straight back to Gallardo, who swings it in. Jimenez trying to flick it on. Good save by Ronwen Williams to take the power out of that shot. He tried the little acrobatic one there, Raul Jimenez. He might have just been sneaked offside, but tried to go for the little flick with his right leg. The outside of his right boot. Forces Ronwen Williams into a save. A good save at that, but might have just been offside anyway there, Raul Jimenez. Pushing for a second here, Mexico. Beautiful play again, Quinones. Quinones! Couldn't find it through that time, Alvarado. Raul Jimenez. Quinones! Hits the post. Williams was full stretch. They've really reignited themselves here, Mexico. A couple of big chances as that's going to be a foul. Alvarado with the challenge on Mbakazi. Well, that's another big moment. Quinones there. The shot was deflected. It bounces back to Alvarado. Wide. He cuts it back. Gutierrez then lays it off to Quinones, who just tries to tuck it in the bottom right corner with the instep of his right boot. And hits it off the right-hand post. Williams was full stretch, but it was the woodwork that denied Quinones this time. They are, after what has been a 15-minute spell where they just kind of settled with a little bit of South African possession, Mexico started to take grip again. Looked dangerous. Alvarado was able to intercept. Gutierrez. Fabulous as Eric Lira. Fidalgo now looking for Jimenez, who's on his own up there, and that's defended by Mbakazi. Goodness me. It's just like a switch that was flipped. And they just came alive. It's Rainers. Dow trying to cross, calling for handball. It's going to be a deflection. It will be a corner, but nothing more than that. And Gallardo with the block. And then there's going to be a South African corner, their first of the game. Just over a minute to go with the first 45. Of course, we'll have a few minutes of added time with a hydration break and one or two stoppages. Corner taken short. Into the box. Swung back in. And it'll clear that time nicely by Montes. Fired effort from range. Wasn't a bad effort, I have to say. Decent from Mbukazi. Worth the hit. Comfortably taken in by Raul Rangel, but ultimately, a decent effort by Mbukazi. Rangel. Bit of pressure here on Mexico, but they've played out of it relatively comfortably. Vasquez. Fidalgo. Quinones. Making the run in behind. He's on the chase. Ronwen Williams was on the scene though, quick. Sharpish. To get the clearance. Here's Gallardo. We'll have the added time then. On top of this. Nice to know how long will be added. It was announced around the stadium, but I didn't hear it. 4 minutes, I believe. Four minutes of added time. Rangel. On ball towards Jimenez. Let it run around him that time. Has to flick it on to Reyes, who was there on the scene, as that's cleaned away for another throw. And Mbukazi with the interception there. Referee doing the new countdown on the throw-ins. 5 seconds per throw-in. Gallardo has a shot from range. Deflected into the hands of Ronwen Williams. So the new throw-in countdown is that as soon as a throw-in is to be taken, the referee will start counting down from 5. If they don't take the throw-in within 5 seconds, it will be awarded as, like a foul throw would be, awarded as a throw-in to the opposing team if they don't take it quick enough. What is the rules? 9 minutes it took Mexico to take the lead. Game's ebbed and flowed since, but certainly Mexico with the best chances to find the next goal. Oh, trying to climb his opponent there. Was Modiba. Alvarado in the way, and Alvarado did wonderfully there defensively to see it behind for the goal kick. Aubrey Modiba trying his hardest to get it towards the box. And that probably should be a corner. And Hugo Bruce is very clear that it should have been a corner, but not given. Given away there cheaply again by South Africa. Here's Quinones. Lovely little chip inside, and he finds Gutierrez on the run. Gutierrez! Oh, whether it was a shot or a pass, nonetheless, it had them scrambling. And in the end, it went for a goal kick. But we see this again. Lovely little through ball, finding Gutierrez in that pocket of space again. I don't know whether he tried to lay it in for Raul Jimenez or whether he was shooting, but whatever he did, Ronwen Williams was scrambling across to make sure no one else got any contact to it. In the end, it goes behind for a goal kick. I think that might have been a pass, rather than a shot. Maybe a little lucky there, South Africa, that they weren't on the end of another goal conceded. Long ball over the top for the run of Reiners, but not on that occasion was he able to keep it in play. We're about to come to an end of the first 45. And there it is, half-time in our World Cup opener. And it is the co-host Mexico who have the half-time lead In Mexico City, it is Mexico 1, South Africa 0.
Your one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal! Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me! That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and battered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible.
back to the 2026 World Cup live on LFS. Halfway through our opening game, and it is Mexico 1, South Africa 0 at the break. The goal from Julian Quinones has Mexico in front in this one, off to the perfect start, the co-hosts. And a first half, which you have to say they were pretty dominant right the way through. I think Mexico didn't have a shot on target, or a shot at all, until probably around 35 minutes. So it was a pretty in-control first half for Mexico. Overall, they had 10 shots, 57% possession. Their XG is a little low for the chances they created, a 0.66 XG. Of course, they scored that goal, and they've had some really good chances, sent some good saves from the South African goalkeeper, Roman Williams, who we highlighted before the game of a player to watch for South Africa. If they're going to succeed in this competition, if they're going to progress from the group, he is going to be called into action quite a lot and need to produce some big saves, and already has done in this one, but wasn't able to keep out the Julian Quinones effort that was nicely tucked away. But it was all really down to their own error, really, South Africa, and the fact that they did concede that goal, because it really did come down to just playing it from the back a little bit sloppy, a heavy touch from the midfielder under pressure. And really, they just couldn't recover in time. Didn't have the players in that moment to recover the situation. And ultimately, Lira ending up with the assist for Julian Quinones and a great opening goal. But I think the best of the chances that Mexico have created are the ones that haven't gone in. I think Julian Alvarez has had one or two really good chances. There was one with Gutierrez had a few moments ago as well. It was kind of a shot or a pass. I'm not too sure what it was. He will say it was a shot, but it looked like a pass to Raul Jimenez to me. Nonetheless, it was still a dangerous moment. And you have to say the attacking line of Mexico have been really dangerous. Alvarado on that right-hand side, along with Reyes, that link up down the right, has looked pretty dangerous. Ultimately, that huge chance for Raul Jimenez in the first 5 minutes came from that Reyes cutback to Jimenez on the edge of the box, who absolutely thundered it with his left foot. That was the first real chance of the game, and a real dangerous effort, you have to say, for Raul Jimenez, but nothing on the end of it out of that one. But certainly Mexico, you probably say, would feel a little bit, not aggrieved or hard done by, but maybe a little bit disappointed the fact that they've had those chances, that they haven't been able to add to their lead, considering they've had so much control. As I said, South Africa had 2 shots in the whole of that first half, just one on target, and their first shot came in the 37th minute from Live Foster. That header from Live Foster was their first attempt of the match on 37 minutes. So a real struggle for Bafana Bafana. But we'll see what their head coach Hugo Bruce can conjure up at half-time to see if they can get back into the game. A huge second half on the way. But a reminder for you that our next game is in 24 hours' time as we get Group B underway with another one of the co-hosts, Canada taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina tomorrow, 8 o'clock from the BMO field in Toronto. There you go. There's the stadium there and a little animation. Canada-Bosnia gets Group B underway tomorrow at 8 o'clock, and the game's coming up over the next few days. Jam-packed, of course. We will have that huge game on Saturday night. Brazil taking on Morocco in Group C, as well as the other game in Group C, seeing Haiti take on Scotland. That's a huge game for Scotland, of course, so huge that Scotland were given a bank holiday on Monday, signed off by King Charles, but the game is early hours of Sunday morning, so a bit of an interesting one, that. But they've been given the bank holiday to celebrate, to sit up and watch it, the Scots, and of course they get their tournament underway. Of course, their first World Cup since 1998, so it's been a long time coming for, of course, Scotland. Of course, in the other game in Group A, South Korea against Czech is a 3 a.m. game. If you're willing to stay up for that, good luck to you. That's also in Mexico and Guadalajara. That's a 3 a.m. kickoff. But we will be back tomorrow at Canada-Bosnia for our second game. But before all that, the second half of our opening game, Mexico against South Africa, is on the way next.
Your one last kick. This is gonna be it. This is the moment. Vicario kicks this. And Liverpool are there. Liverpool are Premier League champions. And there it comes. Crystal Palace, for the very first time in their history, are FA Cup winners. Oh, he's found the net. Oh, what a goal. Kvaratskhelia is through, wants to add a fourth, and does so. Ahmad, oh my goodness me. That is absolutely unbelievable. Rice again. Oh! You thought he couldn't beat the first one. He's gone and bettered it. Another whip ball in. The header is in by Virgil van Dijk. Incredible.
A quick look at the table. Of course, it means very little at this stage, but this is the way it looks. As it stands, Mexico would be topping the group, as South Africa would be bottom of the group as it stands, but a long, long way to go before we conclude that sort of situation. We are a few minutes away from the second half getting underway. Oh, that's not the graphic that should be playing. That's the graphic that should be playing. We even have new stinger transitions and everything. I'm loving this. Our new graphics, of course, if you do like them, let us know. Of course, we tried to use the ambition and the theme of the World Cup to give inspiration to our graphics for this time round. So let us know what you think. So far, been a pretty good start for Mexico, but a long way to go. A big second half on the way in a second, and we're almost ready to go. The players just emerging back out onto the field. A reminder for you, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications. We have 39 days of World Cup action, and there is, I think, uninterrupted for the next 17 days, there is a World Cup game at least every day until the 28th of June. So we cannot wait to bring it to you. Each and every exciting moment of this World Cup. And this is the first of 104 matches. By far the most ever played in a World Cup. It will be South Africa who have work to do in this second half that will get us underway. For the next 45 minutes, a bit of a rescue job for South Africa, who have been on the back foot right the way throughout. But can they change that? Swing it back in their favour in this second half. It was Bafana who took the lead when they hosted the World Cup back in 2010 before Mexico pegged them back. Can they give Mexico a taste of their own medicine 16 years later? Well, they might have given themselves a bit of medicine to take here, because here is Fidalgo. Couldn't find the shot off. Well, they're playing that dangerous game again as that shot from range from Gutierrez goes wide, but a dangerous, dangerous game from South Africa. I mean, Ronwen Williams playing that ball through. Again, it's how the goal came about. It's just a really silly, silly thing to do. It's under so much pressure. And they're very, very lucky that that didn't end up being a goal. Fidalgo there winning it back on the edge of the box, like he did in the first half with a dangerous moment. That one led to the Quinones effort, but another real avoidable error from South Africa's point of view. And they got away with it that time. Here's Mudau. Given away, though, from Reiners. He wasn't able to take control of it. Here is Fidalgo. Trying to skip it through, but Quinones couldn't take it under control that time. It's going to be a roll through for Ronwen Williams. Now, Mexico come into this with a one-hole record, unbeaten in the last 8, albeit in non-competitive games, all international friendlies. They've won each of their last 3. They scored 5 goals against Serbia in their final club international friendly before the tournament. That was 6 days ago. He faced Serbia, thrashed them 5-1. in Toluca. They were 2-1 up in that game. Actually, we're 1-0 down against Serbia and Mexico in that fixture. We came back as there's a shot. Sees the keeper off his line. Tried to go for the audacious one there, Quinones. I said he's got his confidence up after that opener, and this time sees Ronwen Williams off his line, decides to try and chip the goalkeeper. Just didn't have the power to take it past Ronwen Williams, who got back in just in the nick of time. But certainly, Julian Quinones is very confident, brimming with confidence. Ocon giving away again. South Africa really loose in their possession. Here's Alvarado. Reyes down the right-hand side. Alvarado to chase, but seen back by Mbakazi to his goalkeeper. And South Africa, in stark contrast to Mexico's form, they're actually winless in the last 5 games, including, of course, their African Cup of Nations round of 16 game against Cameroon, which they lost 2-1 back in January. The last 4 international friendlies have either ended in a draw or a loss. 3 of them have been draws. The only loss they had was against Panama. And they played Jamaica in their final international friendly before the tournament 5 days ago on the 6th of June away at Jamaica, and they drew 1-1. It's a lovely ball in behind though. The run is on. The chance is on. Gutierrez went down. The referee is going to give a free kick, and there might be a card coming out here, and it's a red one. It's a red card. And South Africa's woes have got even worse. It's Sithole that's been given the red card. And that is a horrible, horrible start to the second half for South Africa. A red card for Sithole. See this again. It's a beautiful ball through, and they just get caught out defensively here. And Gutierrez makes the run in behind. He's completely through on goal. It's a free kick. Foul was just outside the box. But he denied a clear goal-scoring opportunity. And that is a red card all day long. He tries his best to make it out as if he didn't make any contact, but he quite clearly impedes Gutierrez. He tries to... I mean, I give him credit for style points. Sithole, but it's definitely a red card, in my opinion. Well, it's now the conversation as to who will take this free kick. And now Mexico will have an even better advantage to win this game now. With the man advantage. Free kick right on the edge of the box. Fairly central. And that man, Ronwen Williams, will be needed even more desperately than before. South Africa can pull off something magical, but at the moment, they are making it as difficult as they can for themselves. It's Raul Jimenez over this free kick. The phones are out to record. Thousands wait in anticipation as Sithole's red card confirmed. And Raul Jimenez standing over this one. It is Jimenez. It's the wall. Gutierrez gets it back. Gallardo with the really sliced effort. Puts it well wide, but fiery effort from Raul Jimenez, but straight at the wall. And it bounced back to Gutierrez, who tried to lay it wide to Gallardo, whose shot was sliced wide. Well, it's just got even more difficult for South Africa. A straight red card. Already 1-0 down. And my goodness me. They're known for their mountains, South Africa. Well, they have a mountain to climb here. Good hold up by Gutierrez. Quinones. Gutierrez down the left-hand side. This might be a bombardment from Mexico, but a fabulous challenge by Modal. Sees it behind for the corner. corner here to Mexico on the left-hand side. Gutierrez is over it. This corner. He's actually going to walk away now, and Alvarado's going to take it. He's doing this sort of sign, so clearly something they've worked on. Let's see, Alvarado, left-footed delivery. Right swinger, cleared away comfortably there. And as the ball came towards the halfway line, Johan Vasquez clears it out for a South Africa throw-in. We didn't have to wait long for our first red card of the competition. A total of 49 minutes for the first red card. It's been a really dreadful day. A real dreadful game for South Africa, really. They were nervy to start with. They gave away that goal so early in the game that put them on the back foot, and they just haven't been able to test Mexico in any stretch. In this game, Mexico have looked comfortably in control right the way throughout. But that one goal lead isn't impenetrable. It can be got at if they don't take advantage of the advantages they have, really. Mexico with the man advantage and the control and the quality they've seemingly posed and threat they've posed in the game so far. That all means nothing if they can't convert it to 3 points, which from this position really should be a foregone conclusion. Nothing's ever certain, but it really should be at this stage. Here's Reyners, carried wide. Madao. McKenna. Madao. McKenna. Versus it through the middle. Gonna have a shot there, Modiba. Dangerous, and Rangel wasn't the most convincing there, trying to save that effort. Had some whip and spin on it, that from Modiba. Rangel, a little bit caught out there. Well, 55 minutes gone. Mexico 1, South Africa 0. Mexico's goal coming through Quinones, and South Africa down to 10 after Satole's red card. Reyes down the right-hand side. His pass is out of play for a throw. And they're going to make a change here, South Africa. Going to see the end of the day for Lyle Foster. Lyle Foster going to be replaced by Talente Mbata. So Talente Mbata is on. So a change of look about the South African team. And that can give them a little bit more stability in the midfield. Of course, losing a key midfielder in the middle. A major blow. Here's Modal. Okay, now back to Sabisi, who plays a dangerous ball into the midfield. This is where they're getting caught out, South Africa. They're trying to be too expansive and just, quite honestly, haven't had the quality to go with that type of approach. And that's where they're getting themselves caught out. Because of Mexico's press, they're playing right into the hands of Mexico. Just a clash of approaches, and Mexico have won out. That's another poor challenge this time. It is on Eric Lira. Modiba that time giving the foul away. The two number 6s colliding. Let's see what they've got in the locker here, Mexico, for this free kick. Kind of feel they'll be desperate for that second goal just to settle the situation of this next 30 or so minutes. Referee just trying to calm some heads in the mix. How's his work cut out, the referee this evening? Free kick, chipped into the box, flicked on the near post and hooked away. Further cleared up the field. Strong long clearance, but that's bobbling out for a Mexico throw. I have to say, every time they cut to the FIFA president, he does not look interested in football. He looks like a guy who just could not care less about football. He looks so disinterested. I mean, I'm sure he's seen thousands and thousands of games, but, I mean, it's the World Cup opener. I mean, look a little bit more interested. Gallardo. Lera. Montez. Lera. Vasquez. Comfortable for Mexico at the moment. Nicely played into Fidalgo here. Wide to Gallardo. Go for the early cross. That was a dangerous effort. And the run from Alvarado on the right-hand side just wasn't met in the end. It was Quinones with the cross. And Alvarado made the run round the back. Just a little bit too much on the cross. Good vision. Good idea. It's not the correct execution. Well, the man in the dugout for Mexico, Javier Aguirre, may fancy a strong start in Mexico City. His side are unbeaten in their 7 matches in the World Cup at this stadium. That's 5 wins and 2 draws. And an opening win could quickly put them in the driving seat in this group. And right now, they are very much in the driving seat of this game. But the scoreline might be a little too close for comfort. We've seen magical moments in World Cups that have defied explanation before. This would certainly be amongst them if South Africa could spring an equalising goal from somewhere. So we surpassed the hour mark inside the Estadio Azteca in Mexico City. It's going to be a push. Alvarado, the one going to be penalised for the push in the back of South African man there, Modiba. And they're going to make another change here, South Africa. Zwane is going to be coming on. Themba Zwane. He's going to replace Jaden Adams in the midfield. So Adams replaced by Zwane. That's their second sub of the game. And you kind of make the point, if South Africa are to get something in this group, they need to put this behind them. If they do lose this game, and I mean, that is a big if at the moment because the game's far from over, but if they do lose the game, you know, they go into their next 2 knowing that they need to win one of them at least to get through. You would suspect either Czechia or South Korea. They play Czechia on the 18th, that's a week today. And then they play a week later against South Korea. So a week between their games and not a time to prepare and to really try to make up for what could be a disappointing opening result. But again, Bafana have sprung something before. Fidalgo plays it back to his goalkeeper, Rangel. Well, it's a party atmosphere here at the Estadio Azteca. South Africa not doing much to spoil the party so far. Great hold-up play by Raul Jimenez there. A little bit of a late challenge, though, by Quinones. It's going to be a South African free kick. I have to say credit to South Africa. They've played the majority of this half with 10 men. And they've done a pretty good job, but albeit maybe one or two little skirmishes, but overall a pretty good job at keeping South Africa at bay, or Mexico at bay, sorry, to this point. Just one shot on target in the second half for the hosts. Williams. Long effort up the middle. Rangers was the target. Well cut out by Vasquez. Mexico got a little bit loose there in the middle. Nicely picked up by Mokena. Early cross by Modiba was dangerous, but sprung all the way through and out the other end. Modao was the man closest round the back, but goal kick it is. There'll be no shortage of celebrity involvement across the tournament, of course. We expect to see some of the world's biggest celebrities watching on right the way throughout the tournament. Vasquez going long down the left, a little bit wayward that time. Mexico are readying a double substitution here in a moment. Not just yet, but two players ready and waiting to enter the fray very shortly. See if they can conjure up some more attacking threat, really, for Mexico in the next 25 minutes to try and ease any lingering nerves that may be around. Modao under pressure. Back to Sabisi. Oh, Sabisi caught in possession by Julian Quinones. Gutierrez tried to find it through, but Gallardo made the run. He's the furthest man forward there, but body's in the way. Williams trying to angle that one forward, but once again, no end products for South Africa. This is going to be the double substitution then for Mexico. Going to see the introduction of Luis Chavez and also the youngest player at the tournament, as we're going to see the introduction of Gilberto Mora, the 17-year-old. So that's the double substitution. Brian Gutierrez replaced by Luis Chavez. And of course the competition's youngest player, Gilberto Mora, is on as well. 17 years old, doesn't turn 18 until October. Plays for Club Tijuana. And a roar from around the stadium as the name of Gilberto Mora is sounded around the PA system. Chants of Mora, Mora, Mora are going around the stadium there. Mexican star boy. Here's Quinones out to the right-hand side. Ball swung in. Beautiful header from Raul Jimenez. That was pinpoint perfect. And Mexico double their lead. Beautiful from Raul Jimenez, who is clearly emotional. And that is a real, true Mexican quality. Fabulous cross. And the deftest headers from Raul Jimenez. Too much for Roman Williams to keep out. And he is very, very emotional, Raul Jimenez. Again, it's really good hold-up play by Jimenez to start the move off. Quinones laid it wide, and the left-footed cross was perfection to Jimenez, who snuck round the back and deftly headed it in. Beautiful goal. And Raul Jimenez off the mark. And that is a beautiful, beautiful goal. And look at this. What a journey he has come on, Raul Jimenez. We're going to have a hydration break and a great moment for a little break after that great goal. But, you know, we will remember the head injury that he had, Raul Jimenez, that had him out for many months. And you kind of thought, would he ever play football again? Well, he returned to top-flight football with Fulham. And he was able now to score in a World Cup for his country on his home turf. Not many can say they've done that, but Raul Jimenez has. And Mexico are 2 to the good. And what a cross, by the way, from Roberto Alvarado. Absolutely pinpoint perfect. And Raul Jimenez off the mark. I said he was the one to watch for Mexico. Well, watch that in pure glee. And of course, the drama of the second half started about 20 minutes ago when that red card came. Look at this for build-up play. I mean, we see from the referee's view the involvement of Raul Jimenez to start the move and then finishes the move. I mean, it's a wonderful, wonderful moment for Mexico. Really, really fabulous moment. And it's only what they've deserved. They've been by far the best team in this match. By far. And are quite comfortably in front and leading by a margin now. It was a party atmosphere before the goal. It very much is a party atmosphere now. We actually hadn't kicked off from the goal. So before the hydration break. So we will kick off at 2-0 with just around 20 minutes to go. So 2-0 to Mexico. It looks like that wonderful record that Mexico have inside the Estadio Azteca is going to continue. And they are the pre-tournament favourites to top this group. The hosts, and they're also holding a record that they haven't lost an opening game in a Men's World Cup since 1994 when they were beaten by Norway. They've gone unbeaten in 7 such games since 1994. It looks like that's going to be extended to 8. This is their 18th appearance at a Men's World Cup. Mexico, that's a record for any South African nation, or CONCACAF nation, shall I say. But they also played the most matches without ever lifting the trophy. They've played 60 games in the competition. But a positive omen. Their best finishes, as I said earlier, will both come as hosts, getting to the quarterfinals twice. Here's Raul Jimenez on the move again down the left. That time he was offside, though. And they played 60 matches, Mexico, without winning a World Cup title. Netherlands are 55, Sweden with 51, Belgium with 51, and Switzerland with 41, all amongst that list of teams that have never won the World Cup with the most appearances. And Aguirre, who's returned for his 3rd spell in charge of his country back in 2024. It's the 3rd time he will lead them in the World Cup after 2002 and 2010. And the moment he holds strongly will be the fact that only France's Didier Deschamps has managed more World Cups with the same nation than Aguirre. Well, there's an issue here. There could be a penalty. A clash on with Raul Jimenez in the box. Referee hasn't given it, but let's see it again. It's a good move down the right-hand side again. Alvarado with the ball through, and Jimenez just... No, I don't think that's a penalty. It's good, strong defending, in my opinion. Yeah, it's good, strong defending. It was Sibisi that the block. It's not a foul. Stepped across to make the block. Nothing too wrong with that. Quinones is brought down by Sibisi. This one is going to be a yellow card by Sibisi. A little bit cynical there on Quinones. So a free kick and a yellow card. He's kind of pushed him in the shoulder after he caught him, so it's definitely a foul, very least. And the yellow card as well. Third card they've received in the game, South Africa. 2 yellows and a red. It has been certainly a match to forget in their World Cup opener for South Africa. Their first World Cup match in 16 years. And it's not been the perfect return by any stretch of the imagination to this tournament. For Mexico, quite the contrast. Quite the contrary. Gallardo. Chavez. Right to Quinones. Again, just popping it around. Such freedom at the moment. Quinones. Jimenez. Back to Quinones. The 2 goal scorers there combining with a few passes. Drag on Gallardo. Stolen away by Chavez. And one back with a crunching challenge by Reyners. And going to get a free kick here, South Africa, for another foul. And this is a fantastic little fact. This is the first time an opening fixture has ever been repeated from the 19 previous single match World Cup openers. That match was the last time a World Cup opener ended in a draw in 2010. But it's not going to end with a draw, it seems at the moment, as Edson Alvarez is coming on, as well as Armando Gonzalez. So Gonzalez and Alvarez are on, and the goalscorer Raul Jimenez has been taken off for Mexico. And South Africa are going to make their changes. Modiba and Reyners are coming off. And we're going to see their 2 final subs, seeing Apolis and Makopa on. The changes, by the way, Eric Lira was the other player to come off for Mexico. So Lira and Jimenez for Alvarez and Gonzalez. 13.5 minutes to go. Mexico 2, South Africa 0. South Africa, of course, down to 10 in this World Cup opener here at the Estadio Azteca. And it has been a fantastic start to the tournament for Mexico, who have been dominant the whole way through. Vasquez. Alvarez. Vasquez again. And there's no major hurry. for Mexico. They can just calmly manage this game. And this will be a huge 3 points to get off to a winning start in the World Cup. And it's one of the hosts. There is that added pressure of, host teams usually do quite well in the World Cup and usually go quite far. And there's kind of that added pressure with you, but Mexico playing with such freedom. And they have more than deserved the scoreline they are currently withholding. Here's Gilberto Mora. Wide to Gallardo, who is well defended there, but I think the throw-in has been given in the way of Mexico. As they're going to make their final change of the game. Going to see the man who opened the scoring, the first goal scorer at this World Cup, Julian Quinones. He's going to be replaced by Alexis Vega. So Vega on for Quinones. Mora, one for the switch ball. Taken in by Alvarado. Inside run from Chavez to the byline, looking for the cutback. Decent effort, but defended there by Sibisi. South Africa trying to progress the ball with McKenna, but Gilberto Mora right on him and steals the ball away, although the referee is going to give the foul for a pull on McKenna by Gilberto Mora. That's going to be a free kick to South Africa. Well, he looks a bright spark, the 17-year-old, since coming on. Maybe a little bit unfortunate for a foul to be given against them there. Short of 10 minutes to go in this opening game of the 2026 FIFA World Cup. Mexico 2 to the good against 10-man South Africa here. Alvarado with the reverse as they were announcing the attendance inside the stadium. Even that has such energy behind it. South Africa here down the left-hand side. They rescue a bit of dignity here, really. That shot took a deflection. Comfortably down the throat of the goalkeeper, Rangel. But it was Alvarado who was down in the mix here. He was down. And South Africa continued to play on, as did the referee. It was Oswin Apolis with the shot in the end. But it was a collision with Zwane. Saw Alvarado go down. They played on. And Alvarado slowly but surely getting back to his feet. A reminder for you, another big game as one of the co-hosts in action tomorrow night. Canada taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina tomorrow, 8 o'clock at BMO Field in Toronto to kick off Canada's tournament. That is tomorrow at 8 o'clock. That's Group B getting underway tomorrow. You have to say, though, you kind of felt that this was always the feeling coming into this one, that Mexico would be the team that would dominate, that would have the upper hand with the... Well, there's something going on, actually. There's a VAR. Hold on a second. I'm not actually too sure what is going on, but VAR are involved. They're checking for a possible red card. It was Zwane on Alvarado. I said they collided before that shot from Apolis. Well, they're checking for a possible red card on Zwane. just kind of slaps round the face of Alvarado. I don't know whether he was just trying to grapple to get him off, but get out of the way. But I don't know if this is a red card. It looks very soft to me. I mean, you're kind of looking for something that's really just not there, in my opinion. He did slap him in the face, though. It's a quite aggressive slap. He did slap him in the face. Let's see what the referee has to say. Could it get even worse for South Africa? The referee asking for some space. And the decision is a direct free kick and a red card. So not one red card, but two for South Africa. And Thembuzwane is the one that's going to be seen a red card. The second South African of this game to be shown a red card. And if there's a situation of it couldn't get any worse, well, it surely can't get any worse than this. Two red cards in the World Cup opener. And already 2-0 down. It was a moment that we all missed, but VAR had eagle eyes and spotted something. And it is a red card. I mean, he quite aggressively did slap him. It looked a little soft to me, but when you saw it from a close-up angle, you can't really argue with the fact that a red card was to be given. That's definitely not. I mean, even in their worst fears, this wouldn't have been thought of for South Africa. Two red cards. Oh, flicked over the top, Mexico. Maybe wanting to add more to the scoreline now with a two-man advantage on their opponents. Well, South Africa don't want to make this any worse. Remember, goal difference could be a major factor for South Africa. The last thing they need to do is concede more goals. A 2-0 scoreline would be pretty pleased at this stage of the game. Still 5 minutes to go, but another red card situation. And the first red card is by far definitely a red card, no doubt about it. The second one is a little bit more subjective, and you kind of think, is that going to be a red card? 9 times out of 10, no. Should it be a red card is a different question. It wasn't a punch, it wasn't violent conduct, but it was just a little bit innocuous, really, a little bit strange. And the referee called to the monitor and had a look. Thought it was a red card offence. Chavez. Gilberto Moura. Chavez. Gallardo. Moura. Four minutes of normal time to go. Of course, we'll have a bit of added time with the hydration break, and of course with a lot of substitutions, and now the VAR decision. So lots of added time to come at the end of this one. Here's Alexis Vega queuing up in the box here for Mexico. Gallardo rolls it through into the middle. Moura lays it off. Couldn't get the shot off. South Africa just about scramble it clear, but they'll all be wanting to add their name to the score sheet here. The Mexican players. As Reyes should have this one under control, and does. And he was fouled anyway. That's a free kick. We see this again. This is the referee's view of the situation. He had a decent view of it, the referee, but decided to play on. And then VAR decided to have an intervention when he had another look. The referee, he decided it was a red card, and Zwane was one of the substitutes. Only on the field for around about 25 minutes. Chavez, Gallardo. You kind of feel could this game have turned in a different direction without those red cards for South Africa. We got the first so early in the second half. And Mexico did find their second goal after that. Who knows, if it had stayed 11v11, we could have had a different game on our hands, but you have to say it would be a disservice to Mexico, though, to say that they didn't deserve this. Even when it was 11v11 for the whole of the first half, it was just complete and utter domination of South Africa by Mexico. And that has come to pass, really, across the 90 minutes. A reminder for you, we are back with our second game of the World Cup. The Group B gets underway tomorrow evening, 8 o'clock here at LFS. Canada taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina tomorrow, 8 o'clock from the BMO Field, in Toronto. We'll be live for that one tomorrow night. And of course, some really exciting games in the middle of the night if you're ever so intrigued. USA, Paraguay. USA get their campaign underway tomorrow, the early hours of Saturday morning, 2 a.m. They're getting underway at SoFi Stadium in Los Angeles. The early hours of Saturday morning. Saturday evening, we'll be keeping a very close eye on Brazil, Morocco. 11 p.m. on Saturday evening. All UK times, by the way, that we'll be showing you. Bakazi trying to rumble through the midfield there of Mexico, and in the end was fouled. Actually fouled Edson Alvarez as the two collided. That's going to be a free kick. We'll find out how long will be added on at the end of this 90 minutes. I would quite suspect it to be quite a few minutes. There was 4 added on in the first half. I wouldn't be surprised if it's much more than that. And we're going to have 7 added minutes, which isn't a major surprise considering the substitutions, the VAR intervention, and of course the hydration break. So 7 additional minutes. I have to say it's been a really interesting game, and it's been really entertaining to watching Mexico. I have to say they've played wonderfully tonight, and well deserving of the victory. But that's a lovely ball through the lines, held up by Chavez. Right to Alvarado, who has to play it back to Reyes. They just controlled the game right the way throughout. Vega to Mora there, wanted a foul. Nice McKenna. South Africa could be away here. Madao, who was brought down late. Gonna be a free kick. This should be a yellow, I think. It's gonna be a free kick nonetheless. I think it's is it Montez? Committed the foul. That's another red card. It's red for Mexico. Cesar Montez has been sent off. That's 3 red cards in the game. Let's see it again. It's Madao who broke away, and it's a poor challenge, no doubt about it, from Cesar Montez. Is it a red card, though? Is that denying a goal-scoring opportunity? Or a last-man professional foul? And I don't think it's either. I think it's a yellow. Red is quite harsh, but red has been given. There's a red card. What a bizarre end to this game. 3 red cards. Well, if there's ever a reason for the players to be rusty, it would be the opening game. And Cesar Montes has been sent off. Cesar Montes, maybe a little bit unlucky in my opinion, to get a red card. I was expecting yellow. There's still a good 4 minutes left. I mean, it would be remarkable, but it's not something here. You never know. I mean, who the hell knows what's going to happen? Thought this game was wrapped up 20-30 minutes ago, but I mean, this is mental. There's 19 players on the field. McKenna is going to take this, it looks like. Oh, he's going to roll it. And that was a pretty poor moment. They rolled it too far, and Mexico were able to get to it to block it. Anticlimactic, to say the least. Roman Williams with a long diagonal. Well defended by Mexico. I mean, even when they're given a chance, South Africa find a way to just not have the rhythm. The quality's just not there at the minute. It's just really poor, though. Really poor. I mean, just have the shot. And that's kind of what I've said about South Africa all night. They've been too expansive for their own good. They've tried to be too cute with things. No disrespect, but the quality just hasn't been there consistently throughout the game to play that way. It's almost like they're being arrogant without actually having any reason or evidence to show that their arrogance should be backed up, because they've just not shown anywhere enough quality to be arrogant. But to say we've had a electric, crazy first opening game is a bit of an understatement. 2 goals and 3 red cards. Not often that there's more red cards than goals in games of football, but at the minute, that's the way we're going. Madness. Madness. Long may it continue. The madness. Go up with the flick on. Madao on the right hand side. 90 seconds to go. Cross was a little bit low. Cleared away by Vasquez. And Vega tried to carry it forward, but carried it out of play. Last minute or so. And there's no doubt where the points are going. But that's barely half the story, really. The scoreline. I have to say, whoever's doing the punditry will have their work cut out at the final whistle. Ball down the left-hand side. It's Vega to chase. He's got the on the end of this ball. Got the end on a high. Vega's cross. Cleared away. Confident, strong header by Ocon. The player down here for South Africa. Is it Madao? It is Madao. He was caught by Gallardo. I have to say, both teams have been a little bit clumsy with their tackling tonight. And that's kind of just, at times, made the game a little bit sticky. A bit stop-start. And it's kind of just dwindled away. That's the final whistle. Game 1 down. 103 to go. And if the others are anything like this, we are on for one hell of a World Cup. 2 goals, 3 red cards, chaos from the very first minutes. And the co-hosts are off the mark. Mexico have 3 points and have a victory at their home World Cup. At the very first time of asking, Quinones, after 9 minutes, gave them the lead. And on 67, Raul Jimenez headed home the second. That was only barely half the story. A red card early in the second half made it a real difficult task for South Africa. Then a second red card when Zwane was sent off for violent conduct. And then a red card for Mexico to add to the feat of the hat-trick of dismissals. And Cesar Montes was sent off as well. What a dramatic opening game. And what a fantastic, crazy, chaotic start to the 2026 World Cup. Well, let's just put that in the books then. The 2-0 victory for Mexico. Our first result of the 2026 World Cup. And a repeat of the opener 16 years ago, but not a repeat of the result by any stretch of the imagination. Mexico are off the mark with a victory. And let's show you what that does to their position in the table. They sit top of the tree. 3 points after their first game. Korea and Czechia in the middle there, still to play. They play later this evening, 3 a.m. kickoff. And South Africa are bottom of the table. Long way to go, though, before that comes anywhere near consequential. But that is it from us. Thank you very much for joining us. It's been a fabulous opening night of the World Cup. Mexico are victors on opening night, but South Africa, a night to forget. 2 red cards for them, but that was only part of the drama on opening night. We'll be back tomorrow night for Canada against Bosnia for the kickoff in Group B, as I told you about. We're looking forward to that one. That's an 8 o'clock kickoff from Toronto as another co-host nation gets their mark off on home turf. We'll see you tomorrow for that. For now, good night.